What's good, chat? We are back. Another video. I'm at y'all. And I've been reading this book called The Interlude Soul. This was the next book, 3 to 4 of really kind of searching for a deeper understanding of, my spirituality, number one. And number two, kind of getting a unbiased perspective of myself and really be able to understand who exactly I am. And that's a pretty hard question to answer. I feel like that's pretty thick. Right? So you have the physical aspects, thoughts, the emotions you feel. All these things you're aware of and conscious about. However, that awareness and consciousness comes with a great price. The price of realizing that you are none of those thoughts. You are none of those emotions. More importantly, you are none of the experiences you feel. And the reason why I say that is for the greater picture. The greater picture is if you can see something, right? You obviously aren't that thing. So, or even if you hear something, right? You can use any of your senses to acknowledge the existence of something, and already you know that it's not that thing. So, if you're able to watch your thoughts, if you're able to see an object or experience something of that blessing, if you're able to taste something, right? You obviously know you are not that. So if you can see your thoughts, feel our emotions, and sometimes with the emotions, we get so caught up in them. Like anyone who's experienced a deep bond, for instance, like with the animal, like a puppy dog or a cat, you'll see that they'll get so caught up in their emotion, they'll just close their eyes, right? Because it's an internal thing. And if we can see within ourselves these emotions and also our thoughts, then we have to ask, well, who are we beyond those? And that's kind of where consciousness and awareness comes from. Everyone who has the ability to is an aware, conscious being. And with that consciousness and awareness, without it, I should say, you wouldn't have anything. You wouldn't know what's around you. You can have eyes, ears, nose, mouth, but if you're not conscious and you lack the ability to be aware, then you kind of lose the internal monologue. You lose the ability to actually experience what you're doing. Right? Some people are unaware and unconscious. You consider those people potatoes, right? People who are in a vegetative state. So, if those people lack consciousness, awareness, however, all their sight, all their senses work, taste, smell, sight, hearing, if all their senses work, but they lack that, they're just now in a vegetative state, more or less. And even then, people who are in a vegetative state still probably see, feel, move, hear. However, they just can't do anything. They have their body's in total shock. Or if it's to the point to where their body's so shocked, they mentally can't do anything either. So they're just nothingness. They're something of nothingness. That's kind of what this book has driven me to. And I haven't really thought deeper on that, maybe because I meditated on the question, well, who am I? And after about 5 to 10 minutes, not for me, but mind goes quiet. I guess I've gotten a lot better at just focusing on my breath, focusing on what helps me calm and come to that complete relaxed state Oh, Lord. I don't know what's going on with my camera quality. Focus. No focus? Alright, whatever. We're just gonna look at the sky. Anyways, with that being said though, chat, consciousness and awareness of itself is what makes you you, makes me me, and everybody else that understanding. And with that understanding, we all come to experience that with tons of us are consciousness and aware. We also have the capability of sharing that awareness and that experience that we live through. So ultimately, I view it as a greater consciousness. Greater not being better than, but surplus. Surplus of being able to see and experience other people's experiences, perspectives, awareness of the world without really experiencing it yourself. That's what stories are for. That's what's learning. That's what's learning is for. That's what a lot of these different ideas and understandings come from. They come from your ability to actually take in others' experiences, learn from, and view upon, whether judge or to unjudge, doesn't matter. But that greater consciousness comes from our ability to share our consciousness and experience. That's kind of what makes us one. That's kind of how I'm seeing it at the moment and how I view it. More or less, wrong or right. That's more my belief system behind it. And I'm not trying to get into no religious or spiritual debate of what's right and what's wrong. To me, that doesn't matter. Whatever faith you possess to the world, to your God, to anything, will allow you to see that there's something bigger than you, number one. Number two, it gives you some sense of belonging to see this planet. For me, that would be the case. That would be that ability to feel that. All in all, though, chat, it's not early, but it feels early. Oh shit! And then next week we have early out on a Friday. Great. Oh yeah. So, as y'all can see, chat, there's been a lot of thinking going on. Been taking a lot more time to play the game a little more. And I don't really do it throughout the week. I try to avoid that. I try to limit myself to weekends. Mainly because I feel that there's shit to do throughout the week. So it's not like I wouldn't want to do that. But by the time I get home, go to the gym, shower, eat, and sit down and do my market report now, because those will be done in the evenings. And now comes to the realization that, damn, there's a lot more. Plus, we have 2 classes. We have music appreciation, which I have no idea how that class is going to go. Just some random elective they're making me do. And then we got biopsychology, which is another class that would be intriguing. And I have zero expectation going into these classes that I will learn something of usage for my career. But hey, if they're interesting enough for me to enjoy the material itself without it being useful, I'll be very appreciative of that information. But this is coming to the close, chat. I'm not here to really yap off and, starting to ramble. I guess my one way of getting more of a overall better produced video is just to stay on the same topics or yap really about anything. I mean, eventually the goal is to be on a setup, talk about this, or record this rather in the morning. And then from there forth, post this shit with some gameplay so y'all don't see whatever the fuck you are seeing on this camera. But that's all for me today, chat. I bet on the camera quality. I don't know what's wrong with this shit. I really don't. It's the first time I've seen my phone do that. But I'm gonna catch y'all.